Thanks for joining us. My name is Jessica Escobar. I'm Chief of Staff for Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, TDLR.
My name is Chris Russi. I'm the Consumer Protection Section Manager at TDLR.
We're here today to talk about the Electric Vehicle Charging Station Program. This is a new bill that passed this legislative session, the 88th session, and it gave regulation authority to TDLR for the registration and regulation of electric vehicle charging units. So we wanted to give you a little bit of background about TDLR, since many of you probably don't have a big familiarity with our agency, and want to let you know what this bill implementation process is going to look like. So wanted to start off briefly with a little information about TDLR. Our main goal here at TDLR is to make sure that consumers are protected and that businesses in Texas can do business while our licensees are working. So we want to make sure that everybody is involved in this process and that we're doing what we need to protect those consumers without getting in the way and making sure that we're not putting in overly cumbersome regulations. And we take that mindset when we look at all of our programs. Our agency is run by a commission with 7 commissioners. One of those is our chairman. And we have 32 advisory boards. And those advisory boards are our stakeholders. Those are subject matter experts within each of our programs. And they help to provide us guidance on rulemaking, on various issues that we have, technical expertise related to our programs. And that's where we're going to be seeking your help as industry experts with electric vehicle charging stations. We are in the process of looking for members of an industry work group for the electric vehicle charging stations. That was part of the legislative bill, was to have a work group appointed that will exist through December of 2024 to help us implement regulations and set up this program. So an application is available online. You can find out more about that at the end of this video, and you can apply. We are looking for 9 positions, and that appointment process should be completed by December. I'll have Chris talk to you a little bit more about our agency operations.
Yes, so here at TDLR, we have our 32 advisory boards. That helps us regulate the 39 programs that we have here. These programs range from health and medical to building and mechanical. Consumer protection is a huge element throughout all the programs, but we do have a section that's dedicated just for that. Here at TDLR, the main part of our success here has been the functional alignment. So the functional alignment, meaning that we organized our agency into the functions of what we do. For example, our licensing division, they will review and issue all licenses and registrations that we do for our 39 programs. Same thing with the enforcement division. For all complaints that we receive here at TDLR, they will do the intake, investigation, and eventual adjudication of those cases. You also have the compliance division, which is the division I'm in. And so there, Jessica talked about the industry experts that we use through the advisory board. We also have some here on staff, such as for our electrical, motor fuels program, air conditioning, and many other. Through that, the use of the advisory boards and then work groups, such as what we're going to be doing for this bill, we utilize the stakeholder input and that expertise, and that helps us to best regulate these programs. Here in compliance, we really focus on educating the different stakeholders and the groups, and we rely on that and those educational opportunities in lieu of punitive actions. Give it back to Jess on this one.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Chris. What our compliance division does and our experts in the field, they focus on that outreach and education. That's something I'm really proud of that we do here at TDLR. We're not focused on punitive measures. We're not focused on gotchas. We want to make sure that there's compliance and that there's operations the way they should be, and we want to assist our licensees in doing that. So going back to our implementation process, that's why we're here, right? A bill passed, and now we have some new regulations. So we're in the middle of the implementation process. During the legislative session, we tracked many bills. This session, we tracked several hundred. Of course, that whittled down, and now we're in the process of implementing probably about 30 or so bills. We have 30 or so bill implementation teams, many more bills than that. And this is one of them. How does that process look for TDLR? Well, after legislative session, we start gathering and evaluating which bills need to be implemented. In this case, we gathered all of our subject matter experts from around the agency. So we've got Representative Chris is running our team from compliance, we have members from our enforcement division, from licensing, general counsel who will be helping to write rules. We make sure we have everybody from around the agency who can provide those expert opinions and background to help us through this process. From there, we'll look at what those timelines are throughout the bill. And currently, what our priority is getting this work group appointed. So the application process is open now, and the applications will be accepted through October 1st. From that point, we will be bringing those applications to our commission, and that those appointments will be made during our December 1st commission meeting. After that, what comes next for this bill will be to begin the work to adopt rules. So the rulemaking process, it takes quite a while, and there's a reason for that here at TDLR. Depending on if you have an advisory board or not, we are very involved with our stakeholders. We want to maintain the pulse on what you do, how these rules affect you. So once we go through and begin rulemaking, we bring rules. Either we may start working with a work group, or and so they're originating with you all, or we're bringing rules directly to the advisory board for review. Regardless, that first look comes from our advisory board. They take a look at the rules and they say, this is great, we want to make this change. And then from there, we send them off to proposal and comment, and we get input from the public. Once we get that input back, we review it, we take a look and see if there's any changes that we need to make. They go back to that advisory board again. So there's a second chance for that advisory board to review those comments and see if there's any input they need to provide. From there, that set of rules goes to our commission, and they make that final adoption of the rules. So we make sure that there's lots of opportunities for input and comment on rulemaking, but we couldn't do it without our advisory boards and our staff that has that expertise in these various programs. Chris mentioned it, we've got experts within each of our programs. Within his electrical program, he's got electricians that work for us. So it's not just that we have people that work for TDLR, we have people that are experts within their fields. So that's what our implementation process looks like. We're going to start rulemaking. We're starting the process to begin development of a licensing system for this program. So there's so many facets to the development and implementation of a bill. So that's where we're at right now. You're not late to the game if you haven't applied yet, and we haven't started the process, and we're not kind of behind if you're just joining us. So let Chris talk a little bit more. I know you may have heard that we're one agency, and there's other agencies involved in the electric vehicle charging world, but I'll let Chris cover that.
Yes, so with electric vehicle charging stations, TxDOT's picking up the front part when it comes to the federal grant funding. They're on the funding alone, they're more of the pass-through agency for said funding, but on the actual regulation and licensing of these locations and devices, that's going to be here at TDLR. As Jess said, keep an eye on our website and everything. You can go on to the website and subscribe through our gov.delivery email blast. Go ahead and put your email in there, and we'll keep you up to date on everything that's coming through about the program.
Exactly. So that's the best way to keep in touch with TDLR. We send updates just with everything we have going on with the agency, whenever we have advisory board or work group meetings, which are always televised on YouTube. You can go back and watch them later if you've missed it. So we'll send those out, and our webpage we keep current. So we've had any news, or we have, you can find our rules, our regulations, all of that can be found on the electric vehicle charging station webpage. It's a mouthful. So as a reminder, the deadline to apply to be a part of the work group is October 1st. You can find that on the webpage. And if you have any questions, please reach out and contact us. We look forward to working with all of you all through this next year and a half of implementation, and we know there will be much more to come as this industry is ever evolving.
All right. Thank you all very much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Thank you.